Understanding Simile, Part 1. A simile is used to compare two unlike things using as or like. Authors use similes in writing to create a vivid picture in the minds of the reader. For example, as fast as a cheetah, pretty like a bird, gives the reader a vivid picture of what the author is describing. Let us describe this room using a simile. If we simply write, his room looks like a mess, this does not give a vivid picture. However, if we look at the room and think about what leaves a mess, we could probably compare the room to something. His room looks like a hurricane passed through it. The appearance of the room is being compared to what is left behind after a hurricane has come and gone. Usually there is garbage and remains lying around. And this is what is happening in this room. So his room is being compared to that of a hurricane, and it gives a much better picture in the mind of the reader. Sometimes authors extend their similes so that we can be captured by what they're saying. And also, it gives us an insight into the author's mind. It lets us know how the author feels about a particular subject. For example, friends are like chocolate cake. You can never have too many. This tells us how this author feels about friendship. And this other example lets us know how this author feels about chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is like happiness. You can never get enough of it. So sometimes authors use the similes to project their attitude about a subject. And people who write poems, poets, they are no different. They often use similes in their poems as well. In the next slide, we're going to look at a poem by Eve Miriam, and we will discover her feelings, her thoughts about the ginkgo and the willow trees. This is the willow tree. This is the ginkgo tree. Willow and Ginkgo by Eve Merriam. The willow is like an etching, fine lined against the sky. The ginkgo is like a crude sketch, hardly worthy to be signed. The willow's music is like a soprano, delicate and thin. The ginkgo's tune is like a chorus, with everyone joining in. The willow is sleek as a velvet-nosed calf. The ginkgo is leathery as an old bull. The willow's branches are like silken thread. The ginkgo's like stubby rough wool. The willow is like a nymph with streaming hair. Wherever it grows, there is green and gold and fair. The willow dips to the water, protected and precious, like the king's favorite daughter. The ginkgo forces its way through gray concrete. Like a city child, it grows up in the street, thrust against the metal sky. Somehow it survives and even thrives. My eyes feast upon the willow, but my heart goes to the ginkgo. So we're going to revisit this poem on your page, and as we read, I want you to underline the similes that you have found, each simile comparing the willow and each simile comparing the ginkgo, and then we shall discuss them and continue in part 2.